Okay, good morning, everybody. וישב יעקב בארץ מגורי אביו. The parsha is starting that Yaakov Avinu is now sitting in the land of where his father used to live, in the land of Canaan. And our parsha is also one of the most famous parsha because it's about selling Joseph. And the first question is, last week we see that Kodesh Baruch Hu tells Yaakov, sit down and then build me an altar and bring sacrifices to thank, you have to thank God that you came back home and everything is in peace, in one piece, and everything is okay. And the questioner is being asked, why is he not being told directly, go and build an altar and bring a sacrifice? First is written, sit down. And here in our parsha, our sages say that when Yaakov settled down, like in a meaning, Ele toldot Yaakov Yosef, says Rashi, ביקש יעקב לשב בשלווה, קפץ עליו רוגזו של יוסף. Yaakov wanted to sit down and come down and settle down, and then the whole story with Joseph started. In other words, he shouldn't sit down. And they say, לא דיין לצדיקים, שכרם בעולם הבא, רוצים להישב בשלווה בעולם הזה. It's not enough the reward that they're going to get in the next world, that they want to sit in this world, like settle down and sit and enjoy life. And the question is, what do you mean? What is really Yaakov going to sit down and enjoy life, like having a glass of wine in one hand, a cigar in the other hand, and somebody's doing the wind for him? That's not what Yaakov is going to do. Yaakov is going to sit and learn Torah. So what's so wrong with it? What's so terrible about Yaakov wanting to sit down calmly and learn Torah? And what is the difference between this sitting down and the sitting down in last parsha, which God himself ordered him to sit down first? And there is a big difference. And the difference is why you sit down. What is the reason? And in the last parsha, the idea was Yaakov sitting down, in other words, to take himself, before you bring a sacrifice to God, you have to concentrate on what you're going to do and take all the other nonsense of this world out of your mind and think about praying. It's like sometimes when we want to do something and we are late and we're rushing into it, that's the way it looks. For example, if somebody wants to daven, wants to come to mincha or shachrit, and he's late, so he runs to the runs and then he comes. How is this prayer look? How does it daven? What is this prayer? Now, it's everything. If you start it in such a rush and haste, that's the way it looks. It's not the way you should do. So they say, first of all, you come to shul, you want to daven, you come an hour before. An hour, it can be even a few minutes. But the idea is, before you start davening to God, before you bring a sacrifice to God, you come down. You concentrate on what you're going to do now and forget everything you did till now. In other words, leave all the daily life outside of shul and be concentrated in you connecting to God. So this meaning of sitting down is to come down and to concentrate. That's you need to do. But here, when you sit down, like thinking that you finished your job, here in this world, you never finish your job. You have to move all the time. You have to be in movement. You have to go and do things. The main thing is we're standing in front of Hanukkah. What is Hanukkah all about? Hanukkah is from chinuch. Chinuch is education. How do we raise our kids? How do we educate our kids? So Yaakov Avinu sits down thinking, I did my job. After all I went through with Laban, and I had 2 wives, and I've got 2 wives, and I got children, and I raised them up nicely, and now I can sit down and learn Torah, and I finished my share with educating my kids. Comes the Torah and tells us, no, you never finish your education. You never finish telling your kids or teaching your kids about what's life all about. Never. It goes on. It doesn't matter how old are your kids. And it doesn't matter if your kids have kids of their own. You still didn't finish your job. That's a big lesson for life. Because Yaakov Avinu thought, okay, I did my share. I educated my kids, and look what happened. Those holy tribes, those holy children, they are the tribes of Am Israel. They want to kill their own brother, they want to kill him. Nevertheless, they decide to sell him, which is, from one point of view, much worse than killing him, because they're selling him to goyim, they're selling him to corruption. In other words, they're killing him in this world and the next world. If they would have killed him, so he would lose this world, but he will win the next world. How can it be that they do a thing like this? And all this complicated story, Joseph, it's first of all to show us that when you think in this life, you can sit down and, okay, that's it, I can sit and learn by myself now. Education never ends. It goes on and on and on all your lifetime. There is still things to do in order to educate your kids, and your grandkids, grandchildren, and whatever. So that's the first thing. Then the Torah is telling us, Ele Toldot Yaakov Yosef. And this is also a problem. What is the meaning of Ele Toldot Yaakov? Toldot is, for one point of view, is those are the kids, those are the results of what Yaakov did. Those are his followers. And it's written, Yosef, where are all the other children? What, he had only one child? So one of the explanation is, if we look through the story, we'll find out that Yosef is really like a father and not like a brother, because he supports his brothers when they come to Egypt. And in other words, we also see that then later on, he is not one of the tribes. His sons, two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, are part of the tribes. He is not, because he's considered as a father like Yaakov. And then the other interesting thing is that what the Torah is telling us, that the same life that Yaakov had, Joseph had. They went through the same situations. Both of them run away, or let's say find themselves running away from home or separated from their home. Both of them, their brother wanted to kill them. Both of them got married in diaspora, and etc., etc., etc. It's very similar. In other words, Yosef is really the continuation of Yaakov. And they also say that he looked alike. They look alike. Yaakov and Joseph were exactly the same. And that is when they...
Jacob and Joseph looked alike.
What?
Jacob and Joseph looked alike.
Yes.
What?
Jacob and Joseph look alike, to the point that the Torah is telling us that when he was almost doing this thing with the wife of Potiphar, he saw the face of his father in front of his eyes. So one of the explanation is that they had a mirror, like a couple thing, whatever, that not the mirror of the way we've got today. And it was above the bed of the wife of Potiphar. And when he looked, he saw the face of his father, meaning he saw his own face. But his own face looked exactly like the face of his father. And this prevented him of doing this sin. Anyway, we see the dreams that he dreams. And we learn a big lesson about dreams. We understand dreams. Everybody's got a dream. And you know, if you haven't got a dream, you're better off have some dreams. Of course, there are dreams that you dream when you sleep, that some of them, a lot of them are nonsense. They are nothing to think about. But our sages say that sometimes there are certain dreams that are a certain percent of prophecy. Then there are the dreams of dreaming that I want something to achieve in my life. So I dream to get to that. Some people dream they want a new car. Some people dream they want a new home. But the dreams that are really important is the dreams of what am I going to do with my life? What do I want to achieve in my life? What is my target in my life? And that's the dreams of Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu knows, of Joseph. Joseph knows he has a big dream in front of him. He has to build something that is going to last forever. And this is the way he goes and the dreams showing that he is controlling, is ruling over his brother, they are quite aggravating his brothers, because his brothers, they don't see what he sees. They think he's an arrogant guy. He is also telling the father things that he see that he thinks that they did wrong, which eventually they didn't do anything wrong. And because of this, they decide to kill him. Why do they decide to kill him? How is it possible to those holy people wanting to kill their own brother? Because they thought that what's going on for a few generations is going on now. Because if you remember, Avraham Avinu, the only one who got the message and got the lead was one son, which was Yitzchak. And then with Yitzchak, he had Yaakov and Esau, and also Esau was thrown out, and the one who got the lead was Yaakov. Now they think it's the same story. They didn't know that now all of them are going to be the continuance of their father. They thought that here also, again, one is going to be chosen, and this one is going to go on and to build whatever their father started. But they said, 1 minute, this guy, this is not a suitable guy. If he's going to get the lead, if he's going to get to be the next generation of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, this Joseph is going to ruin everything. He is an arrogant guy. He is no good. This is impossible that he's going to be the one who takes the message. He maybe is the same way as Esau. He is coming to his father, playing with it, talks nicely, and his father thinks that he is a good guy, and he wants to give him the lead. But that's not right, because he is not a good guy. He is a bad guy, because they think. Why do they think like this? You know, in life, we see it all the time. And now we're standing in front of Hanukkah. The light looks like dark, and the darkness looks like light. And we have to make the definition, what is really the light and what is the darkness. The Greek, when they came to the world, they thought they're bringing the light. Because if you think about it, what did they bring? They bring the whole culture, the whole Western culture of today comes from the Greeks' culture. If it's Olympic Games, if it's the drama, if it's philosophy, all the great philosophers of the world were Greeks. In other words, they thought they bring the light to the world. But we know that's not the real right. Why is it not the real right? Because they are concentrated in selfishness and adoring myself, adoring the man, adoring all the desires and the lust and the joys of life. The spiritual part also, when we talk about it, also for me, it's not for the others. But Am Israel, we are one for all. We are not all for one. We are one for all. We built ourselves as a part of a congregation, as a part of the whole. And that's a big difference. Because if you think only on yourself, that's the darkness. That's not the way of the right way of the world. And this is exactly our fight. And this is what Joseph is saying. Et echai anochi mevakesh. He knows that his brother hates him because of his dreams. But he still goes there. And nevertheless, he doesn't find him in the place. He is telling this guy he meets, which is an angel, Et echai anochi mevakesh. I'm asking for my brother. This, I think, is one of the biggest phrases that in our parsha. I'm looking for my brothers. This is what we should do. Look for our brothers. Not all our brothers going in the right way. Some of them are going in the wrong way. But we still have to look for them to find the connection. What was the problem between Joseph and his brother? They saw him from far away, and they didn't even let him come close to them, and they already decided to kill him. There was never a connection. And if there is no connection, you can come to wrong conclusions, which happened with the brothers. It's unbelievable. And to know what is dark and what is light. You know, I was invited a few years ago to a friend, a rich guy, and he did a Chanukat Bayit. He was moving to a new home, I think 4 flights with an elevator inside. He had statues there and paintings from the most famous painters in the world. Really, a lot of money. And the food was unbelievable. And all the people, they were dressed, like everybody like $1 million. And when I walked around and I heard the conversations, I realized I've got nothing to do with those people. They were talking about holidays, vacation. Okay, I'm also interested. I'm not saying that no. I just last week had a beautiful holiday in Eilat. But the meaning is, why do I do the things? If I know what is the important part and what is the less important part, what is the ikar and what is the dafel, so that's all right. If I use all the things I'm doing as tools to elevate myself and to get closer to God, so you need rest, and you need holiday, and you need a car, and you need a nice home, and you need everything. But if this is the main thing, and instead of using it as the means, you use it as a target, that's what you want in life, that's a big mistake. And I was going there in this party, and they were all talking about, not this guy bought this car, but they bought this new home, and they moved here. All really materialistic things, nothing about spiritual things. Okay. What can we do? A lot of the world act like this, and some of our friends also like this. That's no problem. We have to deal with it, and we try to sometimes to show them the light. This is the idea of Hanukkah. Show the light to others. Light it in your home, that the light will go to the street. But then I heard a group of people talking, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The one guy was saying, you know, I did now a fortune. I've got this gambling site on the net. I'm doing a fortune. The other guy was a loan, how do you say, giving loans on the gray market. That's what we call it. I don't know how you call it in English. In other words, those people are using innocent people and really taking their money. If it's in gambling, and if it's giving them loan like sharks, like giving them loan with a high interest, which brings them at the end of the day, who knows where. And those people were proud of what they're doing. Said, those are not this is not light. All the sparkles, all this beautiful house, all those beautiful statues, all the beautiful food, all those beautiful people from outside. This is dark. It's not going to take you anywhere good. But in order to see this, you have to understand what is light and what is darkness. And in order to do with this, you have to look into yourself, because the Rav Dester says that each one of us got nekudat haemet. The truth point is inside us. And if we listen to what's happening inside us, we'll find out what is right and what is wrong. Sometimes, like this peasant, as I told you once, a lot of times before, these peasants come the first time to a cinema. Look, he sits there, and suddenly it gets dark, and he sees those pictures on the wall, and he doesn't understand what's going on. Why do people sit in the darkness? The next day he comes again, but this time he comes with a torch. And the minute that there is the dark and the movie starts, he turns on the torch and he lights up the screen. And what happens, do you think? What happens to the screen? What happens to the figures that move on the screen? They all vanish. They're not there anymore. And everybody is shouting, turn off the light. But this is really us. We're sitting in a movie. And we don't realize that all those figures that are going around us, they are in the dark. All those joys of life, all those materialistic things, they are not light. The minute that somebody turns on the light, what do we say to him? Turn off the light. We're enjoying all the joys of life. Why do you turn off the light? Showing us that there is nothing there. That is all camouflage. This is also virtual world. This is not a real world. But that's exactly what we're talking about. This is exactly the point of the fight against the Greeks. All those movies. We live in a movie. We live in a film. And when somebody comes and wants to wake us up, what do we tell him? Turn off the light. But we shouldn't turn off the light. We are going to light the light of Hanukkah, this small light that is going to light up the whole darkness and show us what is the truth, what is the right way. And in order to do this, we need a connection. We need to do that the light will spread. We need a connection. That was the problem between the brothers of Joseph and Joseph. Joseph wanted the connection. You know, there is a Gemara that says that when you tell your dream to somebody and he solves the dream, whatever he says is going to come true. In other words, when you have a dream, go to somebody who loves you, that he will going to give you the solution of the dream, because otherwise, if he hates you, he's going to give you a bad solution and it's going to happen. There's a whole Gemara about it. What is Joseph doing? Joseph, knowing that his brother hates him, he's taking a big risk. You know, you go to tell your dream to your brothers, they might translate your dream to a bad thing, and it's going to happen. But he says to himself, how can I connect to my brothers? If I come to them with my dream and tell them the dream, they will realize that I love them, because I think that they love me, and they will love me back because I'm coming to tell them the dream, thinking that they love me, that they're going to give me a good solution to the dream. But the brothers, they don't see it. They see only the outside. They don't want to get close to God. They see him from far away. They don't let him come near them. When they hear the dreams, it even takes him far away them, to the point that they want to kill him. But as we explained, there was a reason. But this was a big mistake. And years later, when they come to Egypt and find out that Joseph is the king, that Joseph rules Egypt, that all his dreams came true, they couldn't stay. They couldn't stand. The Midrash says that they died on the spot when they realized the mistake they did all those years. And God had to revive them and give them the life back. Because the worst thing is to know that you live your life by mistake. Some people see the mistakes of their life, they don't care, they go on because they've got no connection to spirituality. But if we are Am Israel, we know that all this glittering light in front of us is not really light. It's the darkness. And we have to light it up. Yes, we have to find a way to live with it. Because it's there, and by the way, it's there for us to use it, but as a tool, not as a target. Not as our mission. Our mission is to use all this world, all those beautiful things of the world, as tools to get us closer to God, as tools to connect us to each other. Et echai anochi mevakesh. I'm asking for my brother, says Joseph. Such a unbelievable phrase. I'm looking for my brother. That's what he's doing all his life. Imagine to yourself a guy that his brothers want to kill him, they sell him, and he still wants to all the good for them. This is Yosef HaTzadik. Baruch Hashem, we're not in that situation, but unfortunately, looking around, we realize that we cannot do what Yaakov realized, Vayeshev. We cannot sit down and says, okay, we did our job, it's finished. No, our job is never finished. Especially now when we see the darkness of Greek, the darkness of the Western culture surrounding us everywhere. And we see that our society is influenced by this darkness. They think it's a light. And they look at us and we sit in the dark. We see things that years ago were not normal. Today they're normal. Unbelievable things are happening around us. And we sit down, not caring. Vayeshev Yaakov. We sit down, think, oh, we're going to deal with ourselves. We don't care about others. Oh, let's say we cannot deal with others. Comes Hanukkah and tells us, we have to get up, light a candle, light the light of Hanukkah, to show our brothers that what is the real light. Et echai anochi mevakesh. Find a way to connect, not to fight. You know, this morning somebody sent me an unbelievable thing from the Prince Charles talking about, unbelievable, about the Rav. 1 minute. I don't know if you got it. I'll send it to you.
The life of Rabbi Sachs. I just wanted to add my own personal tribute. His sudden and unexpected death is an irreplaceable loss to the Jewish community, to this nation, and to the world, but most of all to his family, to whom he was utterly devoted. Our thoughts and prayers are with them at this saddest of time. Through his writings, as we gather to commemorate the life, Rabbi Sachs touched the lives of.
I don't know if you got it or not. I'm going to send it to you. This is Kiddush Hashem. This is Rav Sachs did Kiddush Hashem in his life, and now he's doing it when he died. He was a great guy. His power was to connect people, to connect all people, not only us Jews, the whole world. Look at this Prince Charles from England. When you hear what he's talking, how he's talking like on the Rav Sachs Zal, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, has his friend, has a guy that had an influence on the whole world. This is what we're looking for. This is the job of Joseph. Joseph doesn't care what other things. Joseph doesn't care what's happening around him. He wants the connection. Et echai anochi mevakesh. I'm looking for my brothers. And this is why I think this is one of the biggest phrases. And when we connect it to Yaakov and Joseph that are really together, Vayeshev Yaakov, the big lesson is we cannot sit down and only deal with ourselves. We have to know education doesn't end, not only with our kids, with our nation, with our brothers. And we have to raise up and look for our brothers. Et echai anochi mevakesh. And try, with this light of Hanukkah, with those small candles, would be put in the window, that the whole street will be lit up by those lights, to show everybody what is the real light, what is the real fight. But in order to do it in the right way, we have to know how to connect and not get to the level vayiru merachok, seeing from far away, not letting him come close. We have to let our brothers to come close. Be aware, as we say, from bad companion. Be aware of bad friends, bad influence. But still, if you can influence, you have to do it very carefully. Not everybody can do it. Sometimes, yes, you have to go far away. As this party I told you. Sometimes those people are not for you. But if you have the influence, if you can find a way to connect and to show them the light, who knows where we can get. And Bezrat Hashem, with those lights of Hanukkah, we will succeed and to get to the level of connecting ourselves with the light of the Torah, our family with the light of the Torah, to see all the darkness around us and light it. And the other mission, to light up the whole world, to light up the street, to show them what is the real picture, what is the real thing in life, what is our mission in life. And yes, you can enjoy life. You can use all the tools that God supplied, because whatever God gave us, if it's money, possessions, everything is, those are all tools for us to use. So let us use them wisely and to show the whole world the light and connect together. Ke'ish echad belev echad. All the best to everybody.